Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something awesome to take a look at, something that I am so excited for, because we have a brand new Mattel Jurassic Park Hammond Collection release, and not just any Hammond Collection release. As you see here, as we go through this, you're going to see exactly what Hammond Collection release we have. Also, of course, you already saw it in the thumbnail and the title of the video, but whatever. But you can see here on the front of the packaging, we've got Jurassic Park, an adventure 65 million years in the making. A Steven Spielberg film, it says there as well, and that obviously would immediately give you a hint as to what we are checking out. And then here on the side, you can see a really nice Jurassic Park logo. And then here on the back, again, Jurassic Park. And then down here, you can see Mattel Creations, as well as the information as far as who, again, was at work on this set from Mattel Creations. So there we go. You can see we now have, again, Jurassic Park, Roll 1, Scene 15F, Take 6. You can also see the date 9/9/1992, when they would have been filming Jurassic Park. And you can also see director Steven Spielberg, SDCC exclusive 2023. And in case you are wondering, yes, this absolutely works exactly as you might hope that it would, which is just a really cool idea. Again, when it comes to packaging for a Mattel Steven Spielberg set, this is as picture perfect as it could possibly get. When we turn the set around, you can now see, if we just kind of set it there, you can now see again Hammond Collection, an industry legend director. Steven Spielberg is masterfully skilled at creating on-screen thrills. His 1993 classic Jurassic Park became a global phenomenon of epic proportions and made movie history by bringing dinosaurs to life in a ferociously striking way. And you can now see again the Steven Spielberg name, as well as Jurassic Park 30th anniversary, and then the nice window area there showing off what we have inside the set, which would obviously be a Steven Spielberg figure, a camera, a director's chair, and a Dilophosaurus, meant to kind of give us like that animatronic style Dilophosaurus. So this looks awesome, not to mention the incredibly cool backdrop there with the Jurassic Park Jeep, again recreating the Nedry scene, which is pretty much what we are kind of trying to recreate here, would be Steven Spielberg filming that scene. So I'm beyond excited about this. A huge thank you goes out to Mattel for sending this over to me so I can check it out a little bit early, get a look at it, and show it off to you guys. This actually went up for pre-order yesterday, I believe, so if you are interested in this set, make sure you check out that pre-order and get yours. But again, a massive thank you to Mattel for sending this over a little bit earlier so that I can take a look at it with you guys. But let's pop this box open and we're going to check out the contents right now. Already, just from popping the box open and pulling the stuff out, there's already so much I want to say about this set. But first of all, one thing that is super cool is the fact that that backdrop image that you saw there, let's just reposition this, but the backdrop that you have there in the packaging is removable. You can pull it out, and look at how gorgeous that is. That is such a beautiful image, and it's perfect when it comes to displaying this scene if you decide to display it out of the packaging. So I love the fact that that is removable. Definitely a really nice touch. But another thing that's really cool is the actual packaging is very collector friendly. It's going to be very easy to get these parts, you know, the different pieces of the set back into the packaging to display it again. But straight away, we've got Steven Spielberg's director's chair. We also have Steven Spielberg himself, who looks actually really cool, minus the fact that his wrist looked broken there. We've got the camera here as well, and then the stand for our animatronic dinosaur, and our animatronic dinosaur itself, which just so happens to be the Dilophosaurus, as well as the frill for the Dilophosaurus is here, which we of course will, you know, take a look at here. But I'm not entirely sure if the Dilophosaurus is anything different from the initial version from the Hammond Collection. I will bring my version in here in a little bit and compare with it just to see. But definitely a really cool looking set. There's definitely a lot to it as well. And another thing that I'm a big fan of that I can tell instantly is the fact that the animatronic stand here, like the thing that we put the dinosaur on to kind of give it that look as though it was like a Stan Winston, animatronic, you could definitely switch it and swap it out for other dinosaurs that are in this size range. Like you could put the raptors probably on there, the Pachycephalosaurus or the Gallimimus, things like that I think could probably fit on there as well to, create other displays. So you can probably swap those in and out. We will give it a shot here in a little bit, but it definitely looks like an awesome set, so let's jump to a closer look at this right now. So straight away we will begin with Steven Spielberg, and you can see they created this figure to look really nice. Definitely captured the likeness of Steven Spielberg quite nicely, I would think. You could see he's got some facial hair there, as well as his just, in general hair, and it's all sculpted really quite nicely. We've got very nice fine detail, lots of realism added to the hair. You can also see he's wearing a hat, which looks really quite nice. And there's some variation of color to the hat, as we have a blue and then kind of like a off-white there. And then he's got some glasses on as well, which have that very nice dark appearance to them. And you can also see that they have a nice shine to them. If you look at them with the light, shining off of them, they definitely have a satin look. And then we can actually pull the glasses off, so we can take a look at Steven Spielberg's face a little bit better. You've got the eyes painted very nicely in there, if my camera would focus on it. There you go. You can see how nice looking the eyes are. You can also see we've got the eyebrows themselves, as well as the nose and everything sculpted really nicely. You can definitely see his ears. They're kind of hiding within his hair as well a little bit better now that we've removed the glasses. And as we move down, you can see Steven is wearing a very nice white shirt, which sports some dinosaurs on it, which would probably be the perfect shirt that he should be wearing while creating Jurassic Park. And then you can also see that again, as per usual, we've got some nice joints of articulation as we move down, of course starting with the head, because you do have articulation here in the head and neck area, which can go, forward and back, as well as, of course, totally around if you choose to turn Steven Spielberg into a moment from The Exorcist. You've also got arm articulation out away from the body, really quite far. You can also, of course, swivel, so you've got quite a bit of range of movement for the arm. Same deal with the elbow, if I could figure that area out there. There we go. You can see we can move the elbow around as well as swivel that. And then we also have the wrist, again, same deal, forward and back and swivel. So quite a bit of mobility within the arms of Steven Spielberg. And of course, the same articulation would be used on both sides. You can also see some nice wrinkling and everything through the course of his shirt, and some nice realism added to that aspect as well. And you can see it especially back here. I love how the shirt kind of hangs off of him, showing that the shirt's just a little bit baggy. As you move down, he is wearing jeans, and they actually have applied some nice coloration to the jeans themselves. You can kind of see kind of like a light dry brushing that they've applied to the jeans to highlight the detail of the jeans themselves, almost giving them that sort of stone-washed jeans sort of an appearance. And we've got lots of wrinkling and everything here through the course of the jeans, which looks really cool as well. Again, just adding a lot of realism to the figure as a whole. And of course, if we move the arms up, you can see that we've got articulated joints right here in the hip region where we can move the legs out, and we can get Steven Spielberg to do some splits if we choose to. And then, of course, you can also do the same forward and back. So you have some nice mobility in the hip area for sure, and then you can also articulate the knees. And as you can see, you have a spot above and below the knee there, so you can get some nice smooth articulation there as well. And then the same for the ankles. You can swivel that around, and then of course move it forward and back. And then we also can take a look at the shoes. You can see his shoes, although very bright, they're very nicely sculpted. You can see the laces sculpted out and everything. So Steven Spielberg is definitely really well done when it comes to creating a Steven Spielberg figure, something I've never seen before. I think it's a really cool idea on the part of Mattel, and they absolutely pulled it off with brilliant fashion. Then we've also got the camera, and you can see the camera actually looks really good as well. There's like a lot of really impressive sculpt and detail that has been put into this, as well as some very nice paintwork. You can definitely see that they've added quite a few variations of color here, and it looks really good. Even here where you see the lens, you can see kind of has more of like a shiny look to it, like it should. So definitely some nice elements of realism. Same for up here. as you look at the side of the camera. And the paintwork looks very nice, very precise as you move through. Really highly detailed sculpt for a camera like that. Is exceptionally well done. Really impressive detailing. And it does seem as though the camera can articulate. You can see we can move it around actually, which is really cool. Totally can swivel it in every direction, which definitely helps to move it around and I guess help, capture whatever Jurassic scene you were trying to capture. And we also have this little area over here which can articulate as well. And you can see it can move all the way up and then all the way back and down. So definitely cool to have articulation even on the camera. A really nice touch, something I actually did not know about coming into this set. I had no idea that there was articulation on the camera itself. And then we've got the chair for Steven Spielberg, and you can see again that as well is sculpted nicely, painted nicely. You can see some nice texturing on the fabric of the chair. We again have Steven Spielberg's name right there. You can see that the texturing looks very nice, very legit down here as well. And then the chair itself also has that kind of like wooden sort of a look, and the actual detailing of that aspect is really well done on top of everything. And then here on the back of the chair we've got a nice Jurassic Park logo, which of course is about as iconic as it gets, and definitely what you would want to see on the chair of, Steven Spielberg when he's filming Jurassic Park. That's definitely what you would want to see. And then we've got the stand for the animatronic, and look at how cool this looks. You can see we've got all the cables and everything up here to kind of run up and control our dinosaur. Like, it really has that very realistic, very authentic look to it. You can see all the cables and everything down here as well. Definitely a really neat idea, something that personally, if I were coming up with stuff for the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World toy line, I would have never thought of this as a potential release, but it is honestly genius, and it's such a really cool idea, and it's, again, just like everything else in this set, utilized perfectly to where you can definitely create some of the coolest dinosaur toy photography possible, or even stop motion. You could probably create your own making of Jurassic Park stop motion with this type of stuff, because of course Hammond Collection features tons of articulation, and having this stand to include is pretty much the icing on the cake when it comes to filming a Jurassic Park scene. So I really like this, but of course something that everyone is very excited about is the inclusion of the Dilophosaurus, because the last Dilophosaurus had kind of run by very quickly and is now quite sought after, and not everybody had a chance to get it because it was such a brief appearance in store and is now sold out everywhere. So it's really nice that Mattel had decided to include this one as the dinosaur for this set, because it's a figure that I know many people are still trying to get a hold of, so very much so something that will excite people to have another chance at owning this. But you can see again, it looks to me to be the same Dilophosaurus we had previously. I'm not picking up on anything that is different on this one compared to the initial release, and at least not straight away I'm not. So let me actually grab my Dilophosaurus, the original release of the Hammond Collection Dilophosaurus, and we can compare it to this one. So here is the new one, here is my original one, and looking at the two, you can definitely see if we look at the heads, they don't look anything different to me. We'll close the mouth just to kind of give them a similar look here, but you can see the head sculpts look the same. Doesn't look like there's any alterations as far as the sculpt goes or the paint. The paint looks pretty much the same. The eyes are painted the same way. The crest is painted the same way. Even the relaxed frill is pretty much painted the same way. Considering these are hand painted, you can see a little slight bit of extra red on this one compared to that one, but that's not something that I feel like is enough to really say it's a repaint or anything. You've got the same style of paintwork there as far as that black stripe moving down here along the course of the figure, and then if you look up here on the top, same patterning, same tones of coloration. Everything looks the same to me on both of these Dilophosaurus. Even the patterning and designing there moving down the thigh looks the same. And then we've got the same paintwork leading out onto the tail there as you extend out. And again, the darker tones cut off there leading out into the tail. We have painted nails for both as well. and painted nails on the fingers for sure, again, as far as both go. But one thing I am intrigued by would be to look at the frills together, but we can see the Dilophosaurus, again, looks absolutely fantastic. This is a great figure, one that I was really excited about when it had initially released with the Hammond Collection line. And considering how hard it is to find this one nowadays, I'm definitely excited to have a second here in my collection because it's such a really nice looking figure. But as far as the frills go, that's where the difference I think lies. They kind of look a little different to me, honestly. There's not really a huge difference. Well, first of all, you can see that the paintwork of this one, this is the original one that I had acquired with the actual regular Hammond Collection release. And you can see the paintwork kind of runs out toward the edge there, but you have a large section of green, whereas with the newer one, there's much less green out there. It definitely, like the yellowish tones, run smoother and closer to the outer edge of the frill, more so than the original one did. I also think the coloration just looks a lot smoother on the newer one. Definitely very similar, but even down here on the lower part of the frill, you can see darker tones that are non-existent on my original version. And just generally, I think the frill looks a lot nicer on this newest edition of the Dilophosaurus. Again, it's not super different, and the sculpt almost looks the same, but you can notice even the area up here on the top where the frill opens up looks a little different compared to the newer one. And you can see, if we look at it from up above, there's a turn, kind of like a curve to this one, and we don't have that for the newer one. The newer one's pretty straight, whereas the older one curved. Now, I don't know if maybe mine has just warped over time. I don't think it has, but that could be possible, because the fine detail looks pretty similar to me. Kind of trying to follow along the edges to see if I notice anything different that would give me the feeling or give me the clues I need to establish if this is a different sculpt in any way, shape, or form. Kind of looks to be the same. It's just that maybe it's slightly positioned differently, and definitely better paint apps on this newest one compared to the one that I originally had. So even though the Dilophosaurus itself seems to be the same Dilophosaurus we had with the initial version, the frill for mine is definitely a little bit different compared to the frill of my original one. Sculpt-wise, it's the same, but the paintwork is definitely a little bit different, and in my opinion, definitely a bit more realistic, a bit more natural, and a lot smoother than my original version. And then for just another visual, you can see both Dilophosaurus here. Again, the original release as well as the newer version. The newer version is in the back there, just to kind of, again, show you how they look, the same overall. Just difference in the frill. You can even see the frill looks different as far as the way it's laying there. Like I said, I don't know if this one has warped or something, or if that's how it came originally, because it's been a little bit since I did get a hold of this, so I don't really recall exactly, but the newer one is definitely a lot more flat than the one that I had previously. But as far as a size goes, I really don't think we need to measure anything, because we've already reviewed the Dilophosaurus in the past. We're very well aware of how that figure works, and if you are not, I can, of course, direct you to the original review of that figure. As far as Steven Spielberg goes, though, I would imagine he's going to be right there in the 3 3/4 inch size range, because that's the scale for the human beings from Mattel. So we'll get him standing there nicely, and then we'll grab the tape measure here and get a nice height. And yep, exactly as I expected, the 3 3/4 inch size range, or about 9.5 centimeters. Again, we don't really need size comparisons, because we've had plenty of human figures in the Mattel line so far, and again, we've already reviewed the Dilophosaurus in the past, but we will do one size comparison just because. So there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Dilophosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line, next to our Steven Spielberg Hammond Collection set. And you can see everything again is exactly where you would expect it to be size range wise, except you can see Muldoon is slightly taller than Steven Spielberg when it comes to the mainline human figure there from Mattel. But they're all pretty much, again, like I said, right there in the size range you would expect them to be. So this brand new Mattel Jurassic Park Hammond Collection SDCC exclusive Steven Spielberg set is absolutely fantastic. Again, when I had initially seen this, I was like, what in the world is that? Like, I was so caught off guard by the idea of releasing a Steven Spielberg set, especially because coming into this, for some reason, like, I thought confidently it was going to be a Doctor Wu. Like, I just, for some reason, was so set on my thought process of the SDCC exclusive being a Doctor Wu that when I had seen the Steven Spielberg set, it was actually a pleasant surprise, because rather than just getting a set that I thought we were going to get and being like, yeah, you know, that's what I expected, we got something that was totally out of left field. And I was so excited about that, because it's very few and far between, I feel like, where nowadays we can really genuinely be surprised by something, especially when it comes to a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World figure, because we're so far into the Mattel line that, you know, it's not often that something gets released that you look at and you're like, wow. And that's exactly what I felt, you know, when I had initially seen the promotional images for this set, because it was something that I absolutely did not expect, but was such a genuinely cool idea on the part of Mattel that, you know, I was all in from the moment I had discovered this. And I think, again, they did such a great job on this. Steven Spielberg looks pretty much exactly as Steven Spielberg should look, especially in toy form. Impressive how good of a job they've done as far as his actual likeness goes. And they did a great job on his clothing as well, again, giving him the dinosaur shirt, which was a very nice touch. The old school jeans that you just don't see people wear as often as you used to. And again, everything also includes a lot of really nice realism, because you could see all the wrinkles in his clothing and everything as you move through. Lots of realism when it comes to the sculpting of his facial hair and his hair in general. And his paintwork is very nice, very precise, as you always find when it comes to a Mattel figure. And of course, you've got lots of articulation, so you can kind of display him and pose him any way you would like, especially when it comes to his filming of Jurassic Park. You can get whatever scene created you would like to create with Steven Spielberg. On top of that, we have the extras like the chair. The chair is great. It genuinely looks like it is a real fabric of like a director's chair. They did a great job on the texturing of the fabric on the chair, and the actual frame of the chair and everything is really nicely done as well, sporting that nice wood-like look, and also quite highly detailed. You've also got the camera, which the camera was a pleasant surprise to me, because on top of looking really cool and having some very nice paintwork to it, I was actually pretty impressed with the fact that we have articulation in the camera on top of everything. Again, just giving you more possibilities as far as what route you could take when displaying Steven Spielberg here. And then you also have the animatronic Dilophosaurus and the stand that kind of holds him up, just giving you that awesome appearance of a Stan Winston original animatronic dinosaur in the filming process with Steven Spielberg. And it just is a really nice touch, really cool idea. Again, one of those things, like I said, I did not see coming, but I am so happy that they chose to go ahead and create something like this, because it's not something that I've ever seen before. And when you can create a Jurassic kind of collectible that is something that I've never seen before, you've definitely struck gold with me. So this is, again, like I said, a great set, and on top of that, the fact that you can kind of interchange the dinosaurs with the other Hammond Collection dinosaurs of a similar size range that you might have in your collection was also a really, really nice touch. And again, I really like the fact that the Dilophosaurus isn't actually attached to that stand, so you can do that. But as a whole, like I said, absolutely awesome set from Mattel. Couldn't be happier with this year's SDCC exclusive. Yet again, they knock it out of the park. So if you are interested in grabbing one of these for yourself, I will include a link in the description to where you can pre-order this currently on the Mattel Creations website. Get it, again, now while it lasts, because it's going to sell out at some point in the very near future, and you definitely don't want to miss out on this extremely cool Hammond Collection set, especially if you missed out on the Dilophosaurus. You want to take this as a chance to grab that. But on top of that, you've got all of the other incredible extras and the one and only Steven Spielberg. So if you are interested, check the link in the description. Grab this set, again, while you still can. And also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.